And you need to have merchandise activated to have all of these lower level price points. Okay. And I'll get to this in a second. And as a final, you need to have what are called order bumps and one-click upsells. And what happens in an order bump and a one-click upsell? I hate the jargon. It's just the jargon the internet has made up. If I come to your website and I put something into my shopping cart and I go to check out, the system goes, hey, while you're here, do you want to add this to your cart for another $22 or $35 or $55, whatever it is? And it could be a print, it could be a calendar or a tote bag or a yoga mat or an iPhone case or anything merch related, print related. It doesn't even really matter what it is. And then after the transaction goes through and you get routed to a new page, that new page says, thanks for your order. I'm going to email you shipping details. And then also, do you want to add this to your order, right? One's called a one-click upsell, one's called an order bump. And it's something the entire internet uses. And it 100% applies to you guys as well. And all it does is attempt to raise the AOV, the average order value. Before, you were going to sell a print for $500. Now you're selling a print and this extra item for $550. Is your website set up correctly? That's number one. Number two, do you meet the minimum social credibility bar, okay? What happens in today's buying and adventure, journey, atmosphere, whatever you want to say? Let's say you're an artist, you're a photographer, and I get drawn into your ecosystem. Okay, I'm now in your ecosystem. I'm just getting to know you. I instantaneously go to your social profiles. If your social profiles are not up to snuff, then instantaneously I've got cold feet. Why should I take this artist seriously? It doesn't look like they're doing anything. It doesn't look like they're taking their marketing seriously. Obviously, this work is never going to appreciate, and that doesn't apply in every case, but you need to have the basic credibility of a properly established social media profile. Then the next check is, do they have any followers? And if you have 0 followers, that's a buying signal that hurts you. Then after that, you need to have regular posting going on, okay? Once you have all that, maybe I will follow you, maybe I'll see your new posts, and that will aid me in my buying decision. Maybe I'm not ready right now, maybe I'm gonna be ready in 6 months, right? From there, we have to determine if you have what we like to call traction. Have you sold over a couple $1,000s worth of art? If you have, wonderful. Then you're into regular marketing. If you haven't, okay, then we need to determine that your product that you are trying to sell right now has enough of an addressable market size such that you could actually build a business. Will the work sell? Then we might get into a situation where like the work will sell, but we don't know. It might not. We don't know because you don't have enough of an audience. You don't have an email list. You don't have any social followers. At that point, we need to get you followers, and then we have to go test and see if your work will sell again. And so what used to be these one-off services in our agency are now this focused decision tree. And step by step, you move into the decision tree. On coming out of the decision tree, you've sold a couple $1,000s worth of art, and you're just into regular marketing and the regular marketing consistently and everything that we teach and that we do. So that's been our newest, biggest addition, because the most difficult thing for all of you guys is to go from 0 to 1. 90% of you that are on this call, 90 is too much of a generalization. It's actually probably 70. But some of you don't know if your art will sell. You've never sold art to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends. Okay, we love those people. They don't count. They'll buy anything that you create. They love you. So we need to sell your art to strangers. Okay, so there's a validation component of you guys. But for almost everyone else, whether you've had sales in the past or you had a gallery going on or you used to do the shows and fairs, very few of you have ever done any consistent marketing. You haven't been capturing emails. You haven't been keeping up with your collectors. You haven't been regularly communicating with your collectors. You haven't been sending emails all year long. You don't run sales at the appropriate times of the year. You're not posting regularly on the socials. You've never run a live art show, and all of these various different things. So that's what we got to get you doing. And that's my initial rant. But it's the biggest problem in this industry. It's the number one problem that everyone has. And this game has changed, right? Thinking that you're going to make it going through gallery relationships and end up with something that's like a great living that can sustain you and your family, is the odds on that are like winning the lottery. It's like winning the lottery. You know, to think that you're going to be able to sell your art, your photography through galleries, and let's just say make over 6 figures a year. Okay, you're really, really doing well. That puts you in the top less than 1% of artists and photographers selling in galleries. Just does. That's what the math is, right? This is a business that overwhelmingly sees a very large amount of success on a very, very tiny amount of people when you do the gallery route. And the route that I'm advocating and the route that I taught up front, and don't take it cynically, you do not have to do it through us, is the only viable path that I can see where an artist or a photographer can have a business in which they control everything and in which it grows year after year after year. So ultimately, that's what we do at Art Storefronts, in addition to everything else I ranted about in that video. But enough about me, or enough of my ranting. Happy Friday. I can't wait to get into the questions. How do we go through the questions? So you can see Linda figured it out. If you're one of the brave ones that has their camera on, like Julie over here, or Terry, or Jackie, or Sally, if you guys have a question, all you have to do is raise your hand, and I'll see it, and I'll be like, hey, they've got a question. Sally, I see you've got a question. And I can call on you that way. But for everyone else, at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's like this reactions face. And if you click on the reactions face, what that allows you to do is raise your hand digitally. And there's just a raise hand button. And then that lets me know, like, hey, you've got a question, allows me to build a queue, and then I can unmute you. You don't want to turn your camera on, by the way, you don't have to turn your camera on, okay? I hate being on video. I totally understand it. So don't feel like you need to if you don't want to. And then I'll work through all of the questions that way. You guys can ask anything about anything. I love the questions. It's my favorite part of this whole show. We can also answer the questions in the chat after the fact. If you're one of the ones that's watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, you can leave comments on there. I will see those as well. I can respond to those in short order. And let's start off today with Linda. Linda, you're up first. And then it'll go Al, then it'll go Julie. And then who else raised a hand? I forgot. Yeah, Sally, I'll get you too. Don't worry. I got your hand side. Are you there, Linda? You'll need to unmute. It's a mic icon, bottom left hand. Yep, gotcha.
Yes. Okay. I am a sculptor.
Okay.
How would I sell my work on your art front?
Yeah, nothing changes with the sculpture. Like, you know, we have a whole bunch of different web features that are custom built to sell wall art. You just don't turn any of those on and everything goes on. Let me ask you, in terms of your sculptures, what is your starting price point and kind of what do you go up to?
Okay. So I'm just starting out, and I've sold pieces $300, $400 to I don't know, 60.
Okay.
Small pieces.
Yeah, small pieces too. Those are great price points, and it sounds like they're probably pretty easy to ship. I do find with sculpture, as with all art, but primarily with sculpture, it's really, really handy to do video calls and get into a Zoom call just like this, where you're holding the product and you're merchandising it and you're showing the 3 dimensions and you're showing how beautiful it looks. And so that's a little bit of a change, and there's some tweaks we can make to your website that you know, instead of buy now, which most people don't do in sculpture, admittedly,
Right.
they can book a Zoom call with you, right? That's automatically attached to your calculator, attached to your calendar, and that helps. But that also skews more towards, like, most sculptures are even way higher prices than where you're at. So,
Right.
you know, you would just put them on the website and you would sell some. You would get into some video chats where it's applicable, but other than that, you know, you have all the same issues that all other artists do, right? All the things that I just listed. Yeah.
Like, well, what about how do you price it when you have to ship it? Like, I have some.
No. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That is honestly, this is one of the things that makes me happier than just about anything else. For reasons I don't fully understand, art, wall art, sculpture has not been Amazonified. And what do I mean by Amazonified? The expectation from buyers is not that you get free shipping. It's just not there. It's not an expectation at all. And so you sell, and then you calculate shipping after the fact. Your buyers will be totally okay with it. They won't be bothered in the slightest.
And do you give your artists how do I say it? Are you truthful with your artists if you have one that just is not there, is not sellable?
No, and I'll tell you why. We've ended up with egg on our face too many times, and I'm not kidding. Like, there are people. Okay, I studied photography in college. I mean, not one course, like 4 courses, right? Like, I'm pretty good with the camera. There are people that are selling on our platform that I don't believe understand the rule of thirds and framing, or barely even how to use their cameras. And they have healthy businesses, and I don't have any idea how they are pulling it off, but good on them, okay? Because, you know, art is in the eye of the beholder, right? But the real answer to your question, Linda, is no one can tell you. No one can tell you whether your art is like that or not like that. Now, obviously, if it's terrible, 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 someone can make a value judgment. I get it. But the mental model, the premise, and I get this all the time, and it's like, I'm not kidding. I get like 10 emails a week where on the email, and if you're one of the ones that sent these emails, I'm not picking on you. I'm not going to call anyone out by name. That responds to my email, and yes, I know we send too many emails, by the way, but responds to one of my emails that says, hey, check out my work, and they'll like attach like 65 images to the email, like I'm going to look at the 65 images, right? And the point is, I can't tell you if that stuff's going to sell. There is only one person that can tell you that that stuff is going to sell. And it's when the credit card slides through the little machine and somebody buys it, right? And you'll never know, and no one can ever tell you until you take that product to market and try to sell it yourself.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Okay, I've got the list. I want to grab, hold on. I know your face. I can't remember. Was it Sally? Was it Susan? What was her name? She had her hand up. She had her hand up. I told her to put her hand down. She was technically second. She's turned her camera off. I've lost her. Oh, got it. Where did she go? Now I'm going to lose my whole line. Okay, well, I will circle back. You have to turn your, was it Sandra? No, it wasn't Sandra. It was Sally. I don't know. I'm so bad with names. I got it from my mom. My mom used to call
her name is Sally Smith.
Sally Smith. Thank you, April.
Yeah.
My mom used to call like every one of I'm one of 4 kids, like used to call every single solitary one of us by the wrong names our entire lives. To this day.
I'm here.
And I think I got it from my
here.
mom. Hiya. Gotcha.
Okay. So I understand. I need a different pyramid.
Yes.
I need a pyramid of what I do when I sign up with you first, and then what I do second. And then I have 2 other questions. Who owns the images if I use your printing service?
Yes.
Printing and shipping service? And how do you control the quality of those images?
Great questions all. Number 1, you own absolutely everything with us. Everything. The artist owns everything with us, by which I mean, yes, of course, the images. Yes, of course, the website. Like, you don't own the website, like, you know, our software, but you own the domain, you own the URL. So it's not like you're building on someone else's service. The merchant account is yours. It's tied to your bank account. We're not involved in those transactions, right? So the artist owns everything with us, and that's what we believe. That's why I hate the gallery model, right? Like, anyone that purchases is your customer, not our customer. They're yours, right? That's number 1. Number 2, our software, you upload the image, our software will tell you how big you can go. Then if you like, you can order a sample and you can see the quality of it, see if it matches your specs or not. We have 0 problems with printing. You know, we use 2 of the biggest print houses in the United States, and they're both fantastic at what they do. Bay Photo on the West Coast, Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. Both have stellar reputations and are very, very good printers. So we don't have really issues with printing at all. And then the other question, from the minute you sign up, you have a roadmap for the rest of your art selling life. And what do I mean by that? Not just what to do every single solitary day of the week, which we call the art marketing calendar. And it literally step by step by step by step. And then there's workshops that teach you everything that we teach in the workshops. And then there's support when you get stuck. And then there's a group that you can go into that all the rest of our customers are in, and they all help each other out. So what you should do is, I feel like I'm overwhelming you. Was that like,
yeah,
this is what I've needed? Oh, amazing. Or you're like, wait a minute, that's overwhelming. I totally don't.
It's overwhelming. I find that I can either work and do my thing, or I can stare at my computer a lot and fiddle around with it.
Yeah.
I've sold stuff online. I've sold stuff in person. I need somebody else to do it. Yeah. And I'm hoping you can do that.
I understand what you're saying. The next step that you need to see, so step 1, you find out about us somehow. Step 2, we email you to death. Step 3, you come onto this session, right? You're on step 3, you're on this session. The next step, which you should do, and don't worry, there's 0 commitment to any of it, but when you schedule a demo, you don't even have to schedule one. If you want one at the end of this, you can tell me and we'll have somebody contact you. And it's another Zoom session like this. That's like an hour Zoom session with someone from our outreach team, and they basically take you on a tour of the whole entire operation, everything from start to finish. You can ask whatever questions you like. You can see all about what it would cost to have somebody do everything for you, not do everything for you, all of those various different things. So that's what I would do.
So you're not telling me the latter. the triangle. You're saying you have to schedule it later.
Yeah, yeah, it's show and tell for sure. It's show and tell for sure.
Okay.
But you made it this far. You made it this far. You should do it. You owe it to yourself. And then at least after you've seen that and they've walked you through all the steps and all the rest of this, that, and the other, you can be like, nah, it's not for me, or yeah, okay, I could do that. But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of artists that are in your exact same position. You know, the tech drives them nuts. They don't want to do the tech. The tech is frustrating. They stare at their computer screen. You'll be happy to know once you are inside, though, assuming you get inside, we keep you motivated with a combination of carrots and sticks. We keep our customers accountable to constantly taking steps forward and constantly working on their stuff. And we know you're going to get frustrated sometimes, but guess what? Everyone gets frustrated sometimes. Nature of this business.
Okay. I'll listen some more.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Sally. I'm sorry, I sort of forgot your name. I thought I had most of it anyway, but yeah. Okay, so next up is Al, and then it'll go Julie, Haley, Sally, Azita, Susan, and then, yeah, that's what we got hands up. So go ahead, Al.
Thanks for all this information. I think you answered one of my questions.
Wonderful.
In that we're currently at step 3, because one of the basic questions is there's got to be a cost involved in this, and I haven't heard anything mentioned about that.
Yeah, I can go into those for sure.
Fine. And then do you folks also provide help developing a website? Or it sounds like you host a URL for people who sign up with you. And then the next question is, with our current sales, we would consider ourselves to be in a fairly economically depressed area. And it seems as if we have to price our art. My wife and I are a joint artist team, and we price our art to sell to people in the area. And if we make that transition to selling online, then suddenly we're reaching out into areas that are not depressed and people who have more money than what we perceive here.
Yes.
And then what's kind of a ballpark weekly time commitment for us as artists? What can we expect to be spending with you folks as opposed to at our art tables?
Yep. So let me see if I can remember all these questions. Question number 1. There's no designing. There's no website building. You pick one of our templates. You put in your logo. You upload your images. You put your about me, and you're done. That's it. There's no design. There's no change in fonts. There's no change in colors, because that is a huge waste of your time and is not going to help you sell any art. We've figured out a system to sell art and website templates that sell art that are extremely effective at it. So that part is really, really easy. You can do the work yourself. It's not that difficult to do. Most people get live in 14 days or less. Or you can pay us to do it for you. There's an additional service for that. So those two things exist. In terms of, there was a middle question, the pricing. Oh, yeah. I understand about having to lower prices for being in an economically depressed area. I think you could continue to do that and also put the stuff on the website. You just need to, you'll need to navigate and say, like, yeah, we do friends and family pricing for locals, right? But for everyone else, this is what the pricing is, right? Because you're going to charge higher prices on your website. You need to, right? Because you're going to start marketing, and you're going to start marketing into the socioeconomic bell curve. The socioeconomic bell curve is exactly what you would think. Low socioeconomic status, lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. When you actually start marketing, okay, you find that you're going to attract, as a result of that marketing, people in the bell curve everywhere, okay? And so that's why I said earlier with my rant, why you have to have prices at the low end and you have to have prices at the high end, right? When you play the long game, you realize that, one, the socioeconomic bell curve is not a fixed variable. There are people that are on the low end of it, they're going to move to the high end of it. There's people on the high end of it, they're going to move to the low end of it, and everywhere in between, right? Your job is to get the most ROI, return on investment, out of your marketing. And the only way you can do that is if you have price points for the low end of the curve, and just as important, having price points at the high end of the curve. Like, I would advise you to put something in your store that costs $25,000. And you know what? You might not ever sell it, right? But guess what? You might. Because there are some people that anything in sub $1,000, $1,000, $2,000, that doesn't blow their hair back. It just doesn't do it for them. There's no status, right? So that's important. In terms of pricing, the easiest way to think about what we do is Yes, on one side, it is a website, okay, that you guys are all familiar with and you understand. And then on the other side, we are a postgraduate university that teaches our customers advanced business and art marketing techniques and tactics. And that learning, that teaching never stops. That teaching takes a number of formats. It's an art marketing calendar. It is weekly Zoom sessions with myself, members of my team. It's Zoom sessions with support to get you unstuck. It's all sorts of DIY education. It's the marketing agency. It's all of it. And the way to think of it is we charge a monthly fee like every other website company for the website. And then we charge a one-time fee that goes to pay for all these people that are going to teach you how to build the business for the rest of your life. The plans start at $1,000 one time down and then $49 a month. And then there's a couple ways that they like bundle and do packages and everything else, which is why you should do the demo process. Your final question that I just remembered is how many hours a week, right? Total crystal ball question, right? It's, and everyone always asks it, and there's always variations of it. I would say a couple ways to answer it. One, it's less about how many hours a week you can give me, and it's more about you writing the check mentally that you're going to be giving me those hours a week, 52 weeks a year for 3 years. Write that check. It's gone. It's out of your account. You are going to give me 4 hours a week. That's what you've got. I want 4 hours a week, 52 weeks a year for the next 3 years. What you'll find when you do that, because no artist has ever worked on their marketing that consistently in their entire lives. Artists and photographers hate marketing, number one. Number two, they treat it like their New Year's resolution. They treat it like their gym membership. This is going to be my year, and they do it 4 days a week in January, and by the time February comes, they're doing it once a month, and then the New Year's resolution is gone, right? So it's more about that. The second way I would answer your question is everybody always tells me the hours that they can give me, and then somewhere in the 3 to 9 month period, as a result of working on marketing consistently for the first time in your life, you're going to end up getting a win. And it can be a big sale. It can be a deal with an interior decorator. It can be featured in a magazine, whatever it is. And what I find is that win ends up filling up the emotional reservoir, right, of motivation that the artist or photographer needs to keep going. And then all of a sudden, if you were giving me 4 hours a week, you're giving me 8 hours a week. And I'm like, where did that time come from? I thought you didn't have it. But you're motivated now because you can see the progress in your business and you get going. But it is way more about the hours that you put in consistently 52 weeks a year, which no one ever does.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would go see a demo too, Al, as the next step, but definitely have your wife on it because it'll help with all the questions. Okay, Julie's up next, and then Haley, Susan, Nina. Go ahead, Julie.
Good morning.
Good morning. Wait, good morning for you? Where are you? Are you in Hawaii or something?
I'm in New Zealand.
You're in New Zealand. Wow.
I'm originally from Tennessee, but I live here and have for over 30 years.
Wow.
A couple of things I want to say is, first of all, it was great wisdom what you said. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I have done in my life, I'm in that 70 group. In that life, I've done a lot of marketing.
Yeah.
Not this type of marketing necessarily, except a little on my own.
But it was different. It was different back then, right? It was a different landscape. It was a different world. Yeah.
But what you said is really valid and quite good.
I appreciate you saying that.
2 or 3 things I want to know. First of all, do you deal with many people in New Zealand?
So early on, we had an office in Austin, Texas, and we had a bunch of employees in Austin, Texas. And then COVID came around, that office got closed, and we became the company of the world. The issues that we had early on with customers in all these various different countries is we were on Western Central support hours, right? Now we have employees on just about almost every continent on the globe. And so we find that we're able to get support at more friendly hours. New Zealand, of course, is hard, but I don't know if we have any customers in New Zealand, but I know we have like 6 or 7 that are in Australia. So if you were, and one of them's a really good friend of mine. So if you were in a serious contemplation mode, I would probably say, his name's John, like, hey, John, will you talk to Julie and just let her know what are the sacrifices that we make for living out there? But you know those sacrifices because you have to make them all the time anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay. What I was going to ask you, and I think I've already got the answer, is that I need to rephotograph my art. And
it's super. It's easy.
You can't help me with that, can you?
It's easier than you think. Does Craigslist operate in New Zealand?
Who?
Craigslist. It's like the online classifieds.
Probably, yeah. I think it does.
So if not, they'll have one of their own for sure. And so this is the beauty of Craigslist. All you have to do is put an ad on Craigslist. It's free, and say, looking for a photographer. that has experience shooting art. Okay, critical that one. And then we'll come to my house, set up all my photos in my garage, or set up all my art in the garage, knows how to light it, and we'll shoot it. Then you click post, and then you do nothing, and you wait, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I had no idea this was this easy, because all of a sudden you're going to have 50 responses in that box, because there are so many photographers out there that are looking for gigs. And then what I want you to do is comb through like the 50 responses, and I want someone to respond with, love this gig, I've shot art multiple times, here's the ones that I've done. And then you're going to look at that and be like, oh, this person knows what they're doing. And then you're going to hire them, and you should be able to get it down to like $25 a piece, or maybe $30 a piece, somewhere in there, right? Especially if you have them do the archive, and literally set them up in your garage, set them up in your living room, wherever you have space, let them get the lighting, and just factory assembly line that, and just get it done, because you can start selling every one of those as prints.
Right. Now, my situation at the moment is, over the last 3 years, not COVID related, accident related, we have had a lot of illness in the house.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I've kind of fallen off my horse. And I have in that time put together, different from yours, unfortunately, put together a website on FASO.
Yeah.
And I went through that. It probably took me months and months and months to do it, but I did it.
Yep.
And
nothing in your business changed.
Yeah. And the thing that I was hanging out for is the printing on demand of prints.
Yes.
And when they finally launched it, it excludes me.
Yeah. Lovely.
So, yeah, lovely. So, because they require a certificate, a tax certificate in one of the states. Now, I don't have a business registered in one of the states, and I actually don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't.
I file my taxes.
I'm 90% sure. I'm 90% sure we don't require that in the slightest.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Can you tell me if on your website you have a facility to figure out at the end how to calculate the shipping cost? Because they can't do that either.
Yeah, of course we do that.
So
that's all day.
And out of here, it can cost me at least $40.
Well, you
send something to Australia.
Yeah.
And to the US, it's like 60.
Yeah. So you wouldn't do that.
Small.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that at all. So what you would do is, for all of your domestic orders, you would just print locally and ship, obviously, right?
I have that organized.
For the Aussie orders, I would do the same thing, just because they're so geographically close. And then you let our printers handle all North America, all Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I did also go into Finer Works, and that's a lovely place, but I think I have run into one of my own gotchas, is that the photography is not sufficient DPI in some cases to represent a good print on the other end. And I haven't had any trouble on this end, but I did on that end. And so I pulled my website down. I've got it on just the maintenance of my domain name. And I'm just trying to rethink everything that I'm doing and to figure out how to get started again.
Yeah.
So really that's kind of where I'm at. And is there anything else that I wanted to say? Domain name that day. Oh, one of the nice things, and the reason I'm looking for a photographer is one of the nice things that's happened locally is the art gallery that I've been a member of for many years has allowed the members that, when they made the announcement, were already resubscribed to go into a member-only area on a 4 or 5 week basis. But I got to have a 300 DPI to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah. Go find the New Zealand Craigslist right now. April, will you just look and see if they have Craigslist New Zealand and put it in the chat, and then post it today. Literally post it today. You'll have 15 responses by tomorrow. Now, again, I know your country is in COVID crazy right now in terms of lockdowns and stuff. So I don't know if that'll interrupt somebody being able to come to your house, or you can just do masks, because it does have to be inside, right? Because they have to light it. So, but I'll let you navigate that.
But anyhow, I really have greatly enjoyed listening to what you had to say, and it's very solid. It's absolutely. I've been in my years of work, I've been on that front curve. at the beginning of that, and I see that that is where this is going, and it's great.
Yeah.
So
It's better for the artist too. It's better for the artist. It's better for the individual creator. Yeah.
And I would like to, I'm not sure about the pricing, but I would like to listen to what you have to say
Absolutely.
about your individual demo. And
Absolutely.
thank you for letting me come on today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And I love that I can still hear a little bit of that. What did you say? Was it Tennessee? I can still hear a little bit of that Tennessee twang in there.
Yes.
That the Kiwi accent didn't make its way in. I love it.
The volunteer state.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks, Julie. Have a great weekend. And get that post up. And there it is. Auckland Craigslist right here. Julie, they've got it. Totally free to post on. So you can use this link that's in the chat, or you can go on just Craigslist.org and then switch to Auckland. Thank you for finding that, April. It's awesome. Craigslist is amazing. Haley, you're up next. Go ahead, Haley.
Hi there again from London.
Yeah. Hey.
We spoke the other night.
Isn't Zoom awesome, by the way? We were just in New Zealand, and now we're in London. I don't know. I dig it. I love it.
It's 10 o'clock here at night. So hello, good morning to the lady in New Zealand.
Yes. Awesome.
It's almost bedtime for us. On the video, which you play at the beginning of this presentation, which I've now watched twice, and you hear different things every time you watch it.
Oh,
so I'm going to be watching it again.
I love that.
You said that you analyze your customers who are the best at Instagram, the best at Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you said something which I'm not sure whether I heard correctly. You said those who sell classes. So did I not hear that?
Oh, you 100% did. Yeah. We have a ton of people that are selling classes in various different formats. And it's everything from the moms that do the kiddo art classes via Zoom, right? Yeah. To artists that teach artists at a higher level, to photographers that teach digital retouching, to photographers that are selling physical classes, like they'll take you into a national park and do like shooting and stuff and like long exposure, like all kinds of things like that. So
are they selling those on their art storefronts website, or they're doing it in social media?
No, they're selling them directly on their art storefronts website. So you can sell whatever you want, right? Like it's just an e-commerce site at the end of the day. Like, yes, there's a lot of things that are set up to sell wall art, but you can also just put a book in there, right? Or you can put jewelry, or you can put sculpture, or you could put honey and sell honey in jars. Like you can sell whatever you want.
Okay, but so if they've developed classes which they're doing on another platform that hosts
most of them,
Kajabi or something.
No, most of them use Zoom, to be honest with you. Like we're talking about DIY classes versus in-person classes, right? There's a small distinction between the two. If you have it on Kajabi, sometimes they will put an image of the Kajabi thing in your art storefront store, and if they click on it, they go to Kajabi. Sometimes you can do that if you want to sell it on Kajabi, or you can sell it on your art storefront store directly and then send them a login. You can do it any which way you like. Total flexibility.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And on the live art sale, of which I've done one, but it took me 6 hours.
Yes.
And a gin and tonic to get there.
Absolutely.
I looked at the photographers and artists who have done live art shows with you, and they seem to be interviewed by your staff.
Yes.
Is an easier model one where artists are interviewed by a competent interviewer?
If it helps you,
them in the same way a good photographer would pull things out of their sitter.
Yeah, if it helps you, right? Like most people are utterly, totally, and completely terrified of video, any which way you slice it, right? And so a lot of times having that second person that you are hearing is really, really helpful. But also, the way that we do them are we have them streaming, like I'd show in the video, to Instagram, to Facebook, to YouTube, sometimes to LinkedIn all at once. And sometimes those comments can become unwieldy. So you almost need someone to help you out in those situations, right? But, live art shows are kind of like golf clubs, right? You need an entire bag full to play the course of life. Some of them are just super quick. Some of them are, it's Friday. I'm in a good mood. I'm having a flash sale on these acrylic prints. And I would say, here's my phone. I'm holding it like this, right? It's a little hard to do. And I'm having a flash sale on acrylic prints for the first that buy this. First 10, I get it for $49. Send me a DM on Instagram. Boom. Show's over. That's it. I just ran it. That's it. Could have talked about my, could have talked about my inspiration for the piece and maybe a little bit on, make it a little longer. But we encourage those ones. We encourage live art shows when you're in a booth at a craft fair or show. We encourage live art shows when you're in a gallery and it's opening night or the night after. We encourage live art shows as much as possible. And whenever anyone tells me they've run one, I say, wonderful, congratulations. That wasn't so bad, was it? Now go run 1,000 of them. Because that's how many you're going to be running, because it's the future, right? So you don't have to have it all figured out on your first one. You don't have to have it all figured out on your first 30, right? Like, and
where you have staff sort of helping you through your first one, that's not a sustainable model for you.
No, not at all. We charge for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you were to have a competent friend who's
Yes.
great at interviewing to work these things with you and tweak things out of you, that could also work.
That could totally also work. Yeah. There's they just work, period. So just keep running them. Keep running them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and two other questions. Print on demand. So I'm in the UK. I have a print on demand in Bay Photo. I'm assuming that's West Coast, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And it sells to a customer in New York. Where is the sale? Is the sale here in the UK?
Yes.
Is the sale where it's printed?
No, the sale would be in the UK, and then the order would be printed in North America and shipped to them directly, so you don't have to deal with any of that. If you made a sale in the UK, then you would take care of shipping there yourself to get out of any of the extra shipping costs. If you wanted to, you don't even necessarily need to if you don't want to.
Okay, because you said to Julie actually that that she should fulfill in New Zealand and Australia herself, but that you fulfill North America and to Europe. And my eyes.
Yeah, I would say that for her situation, not for yours. And the reason I would say that for her situation is her only other alternative is to ship from New Zealand, which is not going to work. It's as far away from Europe as you could possibly get, right? So the good news about who we partnered with, which is Bay Photo, and then on the East Coast, Graphic Dimension, Bay Photo is the one that has a really big brand, so they're the ones that are known the best. Both of them do like $30 to $40 million in printing a year. And why is that important? Because they do $30 to $40 million for the shipping a year. And so it turns out the rates they get at FedEx and the rates they get at DHL are significantly cheaper than what you, being whoever you are, walking in and trying to get post rates that way. You would never get them. So for her, it's, even if she wants to sell into Europe, will the shipping be more expensive than it would be if it was shipped inside Europe? Yes. But will it be as expensive as shipping from New Zealand? No. It'll be significantly cheaper, right? So yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you. Those are my questions for today. There'll be more next week, no doubt.
No problem. Come back and see me. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
All right, next up is Susan, and then I'll go Nina, and then I'll go Mandy. Go ahead, Susan. And you'll need to unmute Susan. One click on the microphone should get you there.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. You can hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a podcast yesterday on Facebook where someone asked you how hard it would be for someone to steal their art online.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard your answer, but I need to clarify something.
Mm-hmm.
I currently have a website with pictures of my art with a low resolution of 72
mm-hmm.
dots per square inch,
mm-hmm.
which means no one could pull my art off and print it. I know if I want your website to have my art printed, I would need to give you full resolutions for every picture.
Yeah, no, so it doesn't, you upload the big image. The big image goes to the printer, and then the image gets scrunched to tiny 72 TPI, and then gets put on the website. The big image doesn't get put on the website.
That was that was my main question, because you didn't say that yesterday, and so I didn't want my 300 dots per square inch to be able to be stolen off the website. Okay, well, that was my question. So thank you for answering it, and I'm having my demo on Monday.
Wonderful.
So I'll learn more then, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Okay, that was really weird. That was like a crazy Zoom bug. She showed she was muted, and she was just still able to talk. That's amazing. Nina, you're up next.
Hey there.
Hey.
My question's more about the social media stuff.
Okay.
I since the pandemic and the last election, it's been kind of socially anxious to even be on social media.
Totally understand.
But that's, more on a personal level. And do you have like ongoing, I know you have like all the emails about all of these things. Do you have certain threads to like walk people through?
Oh yeah. How to use Instagram
ideas?
stories, how to go live, what type of stuff to post, when to post it, right? Like
Okay.
when to do a room mock-up, what to do here. I mean, you do have to do a little personal stuff sometimes though, right? Because like you're doing it right now, by the way. You're doing the personal thing right now. Like I look in the background and she's like, she likes cats. I like cats. Now we can start talking about cats. Instantaneously we're bonding. I'm getting closer to know, like, and trust. And that's how art sells, right? Like, never underestimate that your customers, your potential buyers want to know the artist, right? Like understand one of the most important things of art is like you buy the new piece of art. The art goes on your wall. You have the party. Somebody comes in, they're like, oh, that piece is really cool. Who'd you get that from? And then what do you say? Oh, yeah, I know the artist, right? People love that little humble brag, right? They want to know the artist, right? They want to be able to say like, oh, yeah, this is my friend Nina. Yeah, she's into cats. I'm good friends with her. Like, let me know. Yeah, my kid's home from school today too. All of a sudden, they pulled some sort of National Teacher Appreciation Day or something, which is not on the calendar and did not tell me. Anyway, I'm ranting.
That's all I got. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, Mandy, you are up next. Go ahead, Mandy. Are you there, Mandy? It's funny. I hear someone else.
Can you hear me now?
No, I can hear you now. There we go.
Okay, very good. I'm a New Zealander who's actually in LA, so hi.
What are the odds?
I have a question because
yes.
Before I get in your way. Yeah.
Oh, see that this other person is there's like a weird bug going on, where she shows muted and she's not muted. Keep going, and we're gonna figure out how to take care of it.
Okay. So baby in the art world, like I am still finding my feet. I've actually got stuff that I've left in New Zealand when I came here.
Okay.
Based on what you're saying, I could hire a photographer in New Zealand to take photo of the art that I have left there.
Yes.
And then have someone else take photos here. So
yes.
You've answered that question. My other thing is, how many pieces would someone need to start?
One.
Oh, okay.
And the reason it's one
okay.
is because you're never going to get started otherwise.
Okay.
Otherwise, we play this little game of I'll just get started when. I'll just get started when I have 15 pieces. And then the hours turn into days, turn into weeks, right? Like, how's that website coming? You'll never get started unless you get committed. And please do not take that cynically. I don't care if it's with us. I want you to start tomorrow, right? You have to. You got to start taking positive steps or you're never going to get it out there.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And also thank you for sending 500 emails because it was the 500th one I clicked on finally.
See, people wonder, I need to go to rehab for email abuse, but yeah. Do you know what's so sad is like email has just gone so off the cliff, right? It's so abused by everyone. April, will you see if you can manually mute Susan? Susan has figured out some sort of like magical bug in the Zoom system because it says she's unmuted, but I can't. Can you just mute your mic, Susan? I think that did it. If she violates again, I'm going to have to put her in the waiting room. We'll see what happens. Okay. So where was I? I was on my rant and that took my focus.
All the emails.
Oh, yeah. But case in point, right? Like you subconsciously, and I'm not ever suggesting that any artist or photographer ever emails as much as we do, okay? This is one of the few areas where I will say, do as I say, not as I do, or whatever that whole thing is. But it worked. Subconsciously, it was in the back of your head. You weren't ready. All of a sudden, you're like, you know what? I'm ready. And you clicked on it. What's funny about that, why I bring that up, is one of the biggest traps that artists and photographers fall into, and this is normally what happens. You know what? I'm going to try Facebook ads. Everyone says Facebook ads really work. And I'm going to go and I'm going to put an ad on Facebook that says, my art, 40% off, this week only, buy it now. And no one buys, right? And they're like, Facebook ads don't work. And what the artist there doesn't understand is those Facebook ads reach some minimal group of people, okay? And they saw your art. What the artist thought was that every one of them had their hand up saying, ooh, I need to buy art right now, right? Nothing could be further from the truth. That is why you have to market consistently, because not everyone that follows you has got wall space right now. They're not all ready to buy something now. Some of them are living in their mother's basement and they're going to go and get their first house, right? So we stayed at it consistently, and we were there when you were ready. That is why you have to market consistently. That is how art sells in the real world, and that's why the consistent marketing is the whole ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it sounds like there's a lot of, I should have read some of the other emails, but there's a lot of like training and different things you can do, like
all the time.
Lessons.
All the time.
Do you have someone that buddies up with you? I suppose to me, I'm like, okay, I need someone to hold my hand right now and just walk me through this.
Yeah.
Do you
A ton.
buddy them up?
A ton. You'll not only have buddies like that, like your support buddy, multiple marketing friends, but you'll also end up making friends too with all the other artists and photographers. You kind of find your little tribe there. And you're in Los Angeles. What part of Los Angeles? Just out of curiosity.
West Hills.
West Hills. So you got out of COVID crazy New Zealand and you went right into COVID crazy California.
Just in time for COVID.
Yeah, COVID crazy Los Angeles. Because the reason I bring that up is not to, and I'm not trying to cast an opinion about how you should approach COVID. It's none of my business. But I live 1 hour south of you, okay, in Orange County, and I will leave Orange County, which is, as a crow flies, 38 miles. Trust me, it still takes an hour and a half, but 38 miles, and it's like going to a different planet. Like, people exercising outside. Everyone is wearing masks everywhere. Like, have to show the vaccine card, and you come back here, no one's wearing masks. It's like, how is our world so different when we're talking about 47 miles? It just, I don't understand it. I don't understand it, I tell you. But anyway.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. No sense. And not that you would care, not that it matters, but we do have a resident Kiwi on the outreach team. So you guys could speak New Zealand to one another if there is such a thing. I don't think there is.
Choice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Azita, you're up next. Go ahead, Azita.
Hi, I'm sorry. First of all, I'm at work.
Oh, that's okay.
So I cannot turn the volume up high enough to hear everything that you guys are saying, and there's a lot of noise here.
I'm gonna send you a replay that you can watch later.
I'm sorry, send me what?
A replay of the video so you can watch it again later.
Oh, thank you. That's all I wanted to ask. Thank you. I'm done.
And are you Persian, by the way?
Yes, I am.
I know. I can hear it.
How do you know?
Because do you realize where I grew up? I grew up in Orange County. I have 5 reses, 10 ollies, 5 ollie reses in my phone. I mean, I have so many Persian buddies I can't even begin to tell you. I can hear the Farsi accent instantaneously.
Oh, yeah. I can. I listen to NPR. I mean, people come on. He's Iranian.
Yep. Iranian for sure. What part of Iran is your? What part of Iran is your family from?
Look forward to talking to someone one-on-one.
Yes, we'll have somebody contact you.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Aziz. Okay. What else, guys? Questions? Did I miss anything in the chat? April, I can't. My eyes drive me nuts. I can't tell you if I see or not. If I took my glasses off, you guys would be like, oh.
I'll get in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. And who was asking me about community and hand holding? Thank you, Rachel. So Rachel's like, you can have many buddies in the community, all types. Rachel, okay, on the Zoom calls on a regular basis, will turn her camera on and get in the background and do the hula hoop for the entire presentation. So every time I look at her little video square, she's like doing the hula hoop. It's actually pretty funny. I find it hilarious, Rachel. I know some people complain, but I find it hilarious. I just want you to know that. All right, goes with those comments. What else? Does that cover it? I think that covers it. Yeah, I would say, look, if you just discovered us and you're figuring out, do these people know what they're talking about? Can they actually help me? Doing your homework, everything else, don't worry about it. But if we piqued your interest, definitely go and get the demo. The demo is the test drive. You get to see all the bells and whistles and hear about all the plans and the thises and the that's that I don't know about and I don't have enough room in my brain for. So that's what I'd say. Okay, Haley's got a follow-up. Go ahead, Haley.
A quick one. So if I'm based in the UK, I don't really want to be selling to my UK customers in dollars. Can I set it up so I can sell both to US customers in dollars and my UK customers in pounds?
Pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, so I won't tell you 100%, but I know we've got a ton of English customers. So I was just talking with one recently. I can ask. I'm pretty sure all of his prices are in pounds on his site. I think you just put it in pounds.
Okay.
I
And when
think
you,
Go ahead. Somebody was saying something.
you're not in the camera.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I'm just running around my little arboretum here in the background. Sorry. Thanks, April.
and the follow-up question to that is, if you're selling into the US market, I believe you put your price up in dollars and you add sales tax on afterwards. Is that right?
I also don't know what the details are on that. I'll have to find out how they do that, but I know we've got people that are doing it already.
Okay, because in the UK we quote a price including VAT, which is our sales tax. We don't add it on so that people know
that
from
or
the
whatever.
beginning what their spend is.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you guys add it on, so it would need to work both ways for me.
Yeah, and don't worry. Everything that you're bringing up is not. Those are the easy problems. The only problem you got to worry about is selling the thing. All the shipping, taxes, this, that, and the other. All those are so easily sortable. Get the sale, and it's all good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Heather. All right. Where was I? Can't remember. I think I did my whole spiel. And it's Friday. Friday already, or Saturday already for Haley, or almost Saturday. No, you're only 8 hours ahead, so it's late. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out on a Friday. Hope to see many of you on the inside. Go and get a demo if it piques your interest and you're interested in that. Otherwise, I will send you a replay in a little bit. I think you guys should all subscribe on YouTube because you get all the latest and greatest videos for free, and it pops you up, and you'll get a little notification. You can decide, do I want to watch that? Do I not want to watch that? But we put a lot of the latest and greatest thinking on there on a weekly basis. And you can ask questions anytime that I'm live, and I'm happy to answer them and see them all. We can do the whole thing. And now I feel really bad because I told Rachel some people complained about her hula hooping, and she's like, I'm sorry. No intention to bother people. I'll keep my camera off. Please don't, Rachel. I think the hula hooping is hilarious. And it really adds some nice color to the Zoom session, so don't stop. All right. That's what I got. Thanks, everybody. Great weekends all.